Hi everybody, my name is Jenica Lambert. I'm the exhibits curator at Riverbend Nature Center. If you've never heard of us, we are an all-native nature center right across the street from Lucy Park. We are a nonprofit, and our mission is to connect people to the natural environment of Texas. So today I'm going to talk to you about a few jobs that we have at the center and what they entail and what kind of skill set you would need in order to be able to do said jobs. So the first thing is our gift shop attendant. So their main job is to check in visitors and to inventory our gift shop, to sell things, to engage with customers. And in order to be able to do this effectively, you need to feel comfortable talking with people, specifically strangers, being friendly, asking and answering questions, being able to give directions. Can't tell you how many times we have geared people or guided people to Samurai for delicious lunch plans, or explain what exactly it is Riverbend does. So that's one job. And then we also have field guiding. So last year we had over 20,000 students come out to Riverbend Nature Center, and we do a variety of educational programs, including STEM and STEAM education programs. We have over 20 different field trips that we offer. We do educational outreach like eco kits and creature feature programs, and all of these programs require a pretty you have to be familiar with sciences, life sciences specifically. So in order to do this, almost all of our staff have degrees in that from universities, and they all have their high school diploma. So to be able to, explain to kids what exactly photosynthesis is, you would need to be able to understand that principle yourself. So all of our employees have a background in some sort of life science. And then there's also docenting. So a vast majority of our visitors, they go through our exhibit hall, they go through our education center, which has over 150 live and rescued animals in it, and then they're then taken into our conservatory, which is a 3-story tall building that's set up as different ecoregions of Texas. So their job is to guide people through the facility and to explain to them, why they should care about the world around them, explain the different animals and their purposes and their, what their ecosystems look like, and just kind of get people to, connect with the world around them and get over their fears. And then they take them through the conservatory and through the different plants and animals and exhibits, and down to Peyton's Place, our butterfly room, and eventually guests go out onto the trail. So, and docents also take care of our animals. So you would have to be comfortable with handling things that aren't you would probably normally not handle, such as cockroaches and snakes, which are everybody's favorite things. But you need to be comfortable with that. All right, so this is Eleanor. One of the things our field guides do is, take out our live exhibits and kind of tell guests more about them. Behind glass is a little different than in your hand, you're looking directly at them. So this is a Texas brown tarantula. She's freshly molted, which is why she's so pretty right now. We used to let people touch her, but she started going bald. So we stopped doing that. If you see tarantulas in the wild, a lot of times they're males looking for ladies, because the ladies are smart and they live in a hole and wait for food to come to them, including mates. And the boys are like, they have to go looking. So they don't spin a web like your traditional spider. They lay down basically like trap wire in front of their houses and wait for food to amble into it, usually crickets, who are then going to have a very bad day. But they're also ambush predators, so they'll sneak up and get them. All spiders are technically venomous. That doesn't mean their venom can hurt you. And in this case, if she were to bite me, which she would only do if she was really upset, it would feel like a mosquito bite. Spiders are spiders because they have 8 legs. So you have 8 legs on each side, and you have 2 body parts, the abdomen and the cephalothorax. She's pretty much blind. She can see black and white, but that's about it. She gets a lot of her input from her environment using the hairs on her legs. Her main defenses are raising up her arms and showing you her fangs, and if that doesn't work, she has urticating hairs in her abdomen that she can then kick at you, which may or may not get in your eyes. But the chances of that happening is if she's doing it and you're like, what is she doing? Man, that's so as long as you don't do that, you're good. They can't really hurt you. So. All right, you're on. Okay. Hello, everybody. These are Madagascar hissing roaches. You can see their little babies right here. Here's an adult. That's a female. And here's a really big female. So they're called Madagascar hissing roaches because they do that. Did you hear? Ooh, he's so mad. Or she's so mad. So I know it's a scary sound. You can see these little things crawling all over her. These are actually a mutualistic mite. So they help her keep her clean. The more mite she has, the more likely she is to be healthy, which is kind of counterintuitive. These guys are found in Madagascar. They don't bite, they don't sting, and this is one of the most successful animals on the planet. And the reason why is because they have these chewing mouth parts. If you want to take a close look at her head, she's so mad. They can eat anything. So an animal that isn't super specific has a wonderful chance of adapting to a new environment because they're not picky. They don't eat just whatever. They'll eat whatever they can get their little mouths on. Books, glue, people, just kidding, but I wouldn't put it past her. So cockroaches are really clean animals. They spend a lot of time grooming themselves. They can't find food if they're covered in dirt. So they will continually clean their antennae. They'll clean each other. They're super social. You can see in here. You don't see any roaches really hanging out by themselves. They have, I don't know if they're social groups. I've never really studied that close, but I wouldn't put it past them. And when they give birth to their young, these are their young, they're called nymphs. And they have incomplete metamorphosis, so they'll hatch inside of her. So she basically gives birth to live young, and then those young will molt and get bigger and bigger. You can see some larger ones down here. Each stage of that is called an instar, and eventually they get to where they're an adult. So you could technically, you could have a baby cockroach. It's a real thing. You can't really have a baby butterfly because once you see a butterfly, that's it. It's complete metamorphosis. So anyway, they're insects. They have 3 body parts and 6 legs. And they are one of the only animals that can make a noise using their body the way they do, which is pretty cool. So if you see a cockroach or something in your home, don't panic. They're not supposed to be in your house. Put them outside. But they do perform an important role, and that's making dirt. So if you're ever just, appreciating some freshly grown vegetables, you have insects to thank for that, because if you didn't have insects, you wouldn't have any soil. So, all right, so this is a furry critter that, again, not everybody loves. These are our rats. This is Butters. Butters is a hooded rat who's just does not know what's happening to her right now. She's got a little bit of a chub problem. She eats her feelings, but it's okay. We still love her. So cool thing about rats, they make really, really good pets. They live about 2 to 3 years. They're super intelligent. They're like little dogs. They learn their names. They come when they're called. They're very affectionate. They'll give you kisses if you let them, which is incredibly disturbing if you've never been kissed by a rat before. They have these tails right here. They're naked, but they're slightly prehensile, meaning that they can wrap around objects. It also helps them thermoregulate. And over here, we have, this is Percy. Percy is an albino rat. Come here. There you are. Come and say hi, sweet girl. So Percy is an albino rat, meaning that she doesn't have any pigment. So her eyes are red. Everybody's eyes are red, but you have pigment that covers it up. And she doesn't have any pigment in her fur. So she's white. This is an ancestor, or I guess a relative of the brown rat, which we do have everywhere. This is again one of the most successful mammals on the planet because they're highly adaptive. They follow people everywhere we went. I think there's only one place that they're not found in, it's Antarctica. So if there's people, there are rats, and they take advantage of the way we live, and they're pretty good at it. But yeah, they're really social animals. They care about each other. They give each other kisses. They hang out in groups. They communicate. You can tickle a rat. If you flip them upside down and tickle their bellies, they make something that sounds just like laughter. And also they like you after that. So that's a thing. So anyway, that's it. That's Butters. Okay. So this is Taurus. Taurus is a male bull snake. We know he's a male because every time spring rolls around, he tries to mate with his own tail. He has needs. Anyway, so you will see these guys in the country. They love to eat mice and rats. And they look a lot like a western diamondback rattlesnake. And they'll actually emulate what they look like. So they'll blow out their cheeks, they'll shake their tail, and whenever they vibrate their glottis, it sounds just like a rattlesnake. So it's called Bastian mimicry, and it's a really good way to not get eaten. However, most people think they're rattlesnakes and end up hurting them. So if you see a bull snake, if you see any snake, the best thing to do is to stop what you're doing and leave it alone. A lot of people get hurt trying to deal with the problem, AKA killing it, which, you know, it's just trying to eat rats and live. It's not trying to hurt nobody. So anyway, these guys are super cool, super misunderstood. I would take him out, but he's wrapped himself around a concrete bench, so we shall leave him in his cage. But he is 6 feet long, and they can get up to 9 feet long. So that is really a big animal. If you can see his tongue flicking, you might know this already, but they actually smell using their tongue. They stick it in something called the Jacobson's organ. It's on the top of your mouth. You have one too. You just don't use it anymore. And that's how they smell. So if there's more scent on the left side of their tongue, they'll go to the left. If there's more scent on the right, they go to the right. They can also smell underwater, which is pretty nifty. Something if we did, we would die. So, you know, pretty cool. And that's about it. So on top of our employee opportunities, Riverbend is a wonderful place to volunteer. As a nonprofit, we depend on community support, and part of that support is just showing up and being here. So we have special events throughout the year. We offer summer camps, spring break camps that you can be a junior camp counselor at and help facilitate and help children navigate their way around the event. We have special events like Not So Scary and Electric Critters and Bug Fest that are one day. Electric Critters is multiple day events that require an immense amount of volunteers, and activities vary depending on what it is, but it's working with kids, crafts, food, you name it, or being in the exhibit hall and kind of guiding people around. But yeah, volunteering is just a wonderful way to give back to the community. It's really a great way to build your resume, especially if you've never had a job before. So it just shows that you're willing to show up and to work and to be dependable, and then also that place then becomes a reference for you for future jobs. So that's really good to have somebody that they can call so they can get an idea of what you're like to work with. So if you've never had that experience before, Riverbend would love to have you. And we not only do we have special events, but we also have regular activities that we do on a daily basis, like sweeping our trails and going around and making sure that the trail is clean, and gardening and pulling up weeds, cleaning out exhibits, you name it, we do it. We get our hands dirty here, and we never have the same day twice. So it's a good way to kind of get your foot in the door.